hotel in Dominican Republic, and I often, well, when I travel anyway, do videos of tile jobs. It's very difficult for a tile guy to see tiles somewhere else and not. It's a scourge. It's truly a scourge because we just can't take it all in and ignore it. I don't know. It's a weird type of thing. And so I'm doing it again, and this isn't a bad shower. I have been to other countries that I've seen better work. In fact, there's a couple of YouTubers, one in particular, a couple of them in particular, in Russia of all places, that do a much better job than even we do, which is kind of odd of it in itself. I think this one kid I watch is barely 30 years old. He might be 25. These guys did an okay job. What I look at, and this would include if I were doing a consultation for somebody, if something went wrong, but what I look at is symmetry. That hits me first. So I'm looking at this tile. It is sort of symmetrical. These are sort of half cuts, not quite, but it doesn't really jump out to somebody who doesn't do tile, but it does to me, unfortunately. This is actually almost one piece. In fact, I think it is one full piece, and that's not quite a half cut. And this is very small potatoes in the scheme of things, but I just thought I would show it because this is what we look at. So I'm just kind of verbalizing what most people in my field would do on their own. This is a full cut. Full cut meaning this and this combined are one tile, so right on point there. And by the way, this tile goes almost to the ceiling and well, to the doorway anyway. So it's a little unusual, but not here. Typically in Caribbean countries, they put tile almost everywhere they can. The only thing that really stood out to me as a mistake, but it's not really a mistake, look at that. So this tile goes at an angle, you can tell by the cuts on the floor. And that's not the tiler's fault, that's the guy who built this wall, because he's just following this wall, and yeah, so it's not really a mistake. This look here. This was a floated wall, which is a little bizarre. to me, that's probably a good part of, oh, I can't say, about 3/4 of an inch. And I know this isn't thin set. I know this is some type of mortar that they slapped on there, but right here it's about an inch. And there's really no reason to float this wall because it's all concrete. This is all cinder block that's covered up with the pretty stuff. So not really sure why they floated it, other than the fact that maybe the wall wasn't straight. But it was a lot of work, more than we would do in the States. They did this trim, which I like, and it's metal. So if they were able to get metal trim, usually I see this in other countries in plastic, but they did the nice little 45 cuts. The only thing I don't like, is actually I was using it last night. This window opens from the top. So at first I thought, well, they set the window upside down, but for a shower they really didn't, because the steam is supposed to escape from the top. I don't know, it just kind of threw me off. But the bigger issue is they didn't build up this bottom part enough. This bottom part should have gone up to this trim of the window, and also build this out a little bit more. So these tile would have been, yeah, the tile should have gone up to the trim of the window. Right now they're not, so there's this huge gap that's going on, and it's getting all nasty and everything. It's going to get worse and worse and worse as time goes by. And all this mold and stuff like that, and it didn't have to happen that way if they had just kind of built out the edge and just brought the tile up to the trim. That's really the worst thing that I could see about their work. Other than that, it's pretty much on point. I like that they used a single handle shower valve. You don't see that very often here. You'll either, typically you see a double shower valve, but again, not a big deal. They were very on point with their drain, and the drain cuts and all this stuff. There's a little FUBU going on over here with the cut, but other than that, they did a pretty good job. The slope is not as good as it could be. When I used this shower yesterday, there was a little bit of pooling going on over here. Not a huge deal, again, in the scheme of things, but just something that, like I said, as tile guys, you get focused on. Again, same thing with this wall. It's cockeyed. It's deeper over there, and then kind of bumps out over here. So both the front and the back. But again, that's not the tile guy's fault. That's the guy who built the wall, right? So he's just following along. This curve is much smaller. It's probably 3.5 inches. Whereas our final curves are usually about 5 or so, but we're typically using 2x4s, and I know they use brick here. So these are just, I think, what is it? It's probably just 1 brick high, and then just buttered over, and then tiled and all that stuff. So this isn't sloped in. Again, not a big deal, except that there's no door. So all they have is this 1 panel of glass, and there's no door, so water does actually, yeah. But again, small potatoes. This is all concrete. This is all everything here is concrete, so it's kind of innocuous. They didn't slope up here either, but small potatoes. But I do like the single panel. Maybe they could have made it a little bit longer. They have the stabilization bar up there that I'm currently putting my wash rag on. But yeah, overall it's not a bad job. But I really didn't, honestly, when I thought about doing a video today, it wasn't specifically to critique this work. It's just something, like I said, these are the thoughts that enter my mind, right? And all I do is just kind of transfer that onto video to show you, which is why I went through all of this diatribe. The main reason I went on here, I just thought this sink was just so cool. Not because it's a basin sink that sits on top of this marble here, but look at this. This framing is so rudimentary. I mean, it's like, it is rudimentary is not really the word. It's so basic, yet so functional. And, I'm kind of deciphering, and I'm going, okay, these are kind of 2x4s on both sides, in and out. and then 2x4s of some sort on the back end, and then 2x4 framing on the top, and that's all it is. So it's like 6 2x4s, and then a solid piece of wood on the front that they stained. That's all it is. A floating sink with a bunch of 2x4s and some 1x on the front, or 2x on the front, with a little bit of etching on it and some staining. And I just thought that was a wonderful, wonderful idea. If you're if you have a plan not to have a vanity, because obviously, you know, what I have here is shelves to put things on, same type of shelves that they built this out of. But if you're not going to have a vanity, if you want something floating that you have, you know, underneath open, this is just a very, very cool, very basic idea that you can use. And obviously, you know, they tied it into the wall, both on that back side and on this side over here, and that's how it's anchored in. It's very, very sturdy. It's not going anywhere. So when I saw this last night after I checked in, I thought, oh, that's so cool. Not that I would use it, because, you know, I want a full vanity to have to put things in and everything, but that's specifically the reason why I came on and did this video. Maybe give an idea to somebody that wants to do something like that, because, you know, it's so easy to do. But while I was here, I decided to do, yes, the video of the shower, because I couldn't help myself. It's just that, like I said, something that we go through, and wherever we go, anywhere we go, we always look at tile and how they did things, and, you know, how on point they were, or vice versa. So thought I would just share that with you, and I'm out.
It's actually kind of cool. They put little granite stars into the sidewalk, but the points aren't lined up. That drives me crazy. Why couldn't you straighten up the points? Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you learned something, consider being a Patreon member. $5, $10, $15 a month would help me greatly produce more videos. I make nothing from YouTube at all. If you're gonna call me for advice, please donate $50 for 30 minutes. My link to my PayPal and my Patreon account is down below. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get immediate notifications as soon as I post videos. And thank you very much for your support.